Welcome back to my channel, guys. If you are new here, my name is Maria. This is Paranormal Geek, where the truth can be stranger than fiction. Today's special guest is Wayne David Hand, owner of Heidelberg Hall here in Pennsylvania. I'm very excited to interview him. This is like so close to home, like I could just drive over there. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
A pleasure to be here. Yes. And are you in Pennsylvania, Maria?
Yeah, I'm actually like 20 minutes away from the mansion.
Okay. Yeah, the mansion is called Heidelberg Hall. And I'm actually not at the hall right now. I have a project I'm working on in Beverly Hills. So I'm in Beverly Hills at the moment.
All right.
But just as an introduction to the property, I named it Heidelberg Hall because it's in a little town called Schaefferstown, Pennsylvania, that for the first 50 years was named Heidelberg. The founder of the town was from a town near Heidelberg, Germany. And the mansion is on Heidelberg Avenue, and it sits in the center of Heidelberg Township. So I thought that would be an apt name. So it's a Second Empire mansion, started in 1876 and completed 8 years later. It is a sort of a grand version of that particular style, which has become the iconic haunted house.
It's beautiful, by the way. When I saw pictures on Instagram, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know this was so close.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm going to be giving house tours coming up in June. On the 26th of June, it's a Saturday. The little town of Schaefferstown has had a cherry festival for over 200 years. And so this year I've agreed to have tours of the house. No one's ever had tours of this mansion, and to help benefit the local historic society. So
yeah, I love that. I love the history of Pennsylvania. That's one of the things that I was drawn to Pennsylvania because of that. And my husband has like some fond memories from when he was a kid. So we both were like, we have to stay there. It's so quiet, so sweet. And there's like little hidden gems like that. It's a lovely place. So how did you come across this beautiful mansion, and when did you realize it was haunted?
Okay, two good questions. So the first question, I was looking to buy a large house on the East Coast. I have several homes in California, so I was looking for something to complement my homes on the East Coast, and I wanted a mansion. I'd started collecting furniture for one. And a friend of mine and myself spent 8 months during COVID looking every day at historic houses online. And so we would get together and chat back and forth. And one of the websites is called, one is Circa Old Houses, and the other one is Old House Dreams. And Old House Dreams had been posting a listing in Schaefferstown of a house of half the size of the one I bought, but a nice house, also Second Empire, that was built in 1878 for the local doctor. And it was nice, but it needed things, and it didn't tempt me, let's put it that way. But at the bottom of the listing, there are places for comments, and someone really loved that house, and they said, oh my gosh, this is the house. Someone else said, well, you think this is nice, you ought to see the mansion around the corner. So I got on Street View and walked around the corner and saw it and thought, holy smokes, that's the one. So within an hour, I had the name of the man who built it, the name of the architect, the name of the current owner, and the owner's son, and all their phone numbers. So called them up.
Okay.
And said, would you be interested in selling this house? And a week went by, and then we got a phone call, and he said, oh, well, heard you're interested in buying my house. Well, I was just going to call a realtor to find out what it's worth. So speed forward just another couple weeks, and he came up with a price, and I said, fine, I'll take it. I'll write a check. So I bought it. Wow. Sight unseen. Now, a friend of mine had walked me through in FaceTime, but that's all. had never been to that village. I'd never been to that part of Pennsylvania. And I certainly didn't know the house. But I knew the house on another way. You know, I just felt this was the house.
Oh,
So
wow.
the day I drove across country, it took like 5 days actually to get there last fall to sign all the paperwork and close the deal. That was the 14th of September last year. And so the former owner was moving out, and he was getting up there in age, so his children were there to help. And his daughter and son were there toward the end, and they brought a bottle of I forget what alcohol, Crown Royal or something.
Oh.
Anyway, they decided to have a few snorts and decided to start telling stories about when they grew up in that house. And I'll tell you a couple of those stories as they related them to me. They had moved from Baltimore County, kind of a typical suburban house, and their father and mother bought this mansion. And they thought, oh, this is a haunted mansion. So they they moved, and the day they moved in, this is what she told me. There were 3 children, a boy and 2 girls, and I think the girls were 12 and 14, something like that. And they were running all over the house. And, you know, the house is enormous. It's like 30 rooms.
Wow.
There are 10 bedrooms. The tower is 6 stories. So they were running up and down the tower and all over, and they heard this voice, "Stop running in the house." And they thought, well, that's strange. That's not Dad's voice. And it's certainly not Mom. It's a guy's voice. So they thought, oh, somebody's just playing tricks. We'll just keep running around. So they did. And well went by, and then they heard it again. "Stop running in the house." And they kind of giggled at each other and kept running around. Then they heard it a 3rd time. "Stop running in the house." And so they ran outside, and all the doors slammed and locked.
Oh,
And they
my
couldn't
God.
get back in the house. So I sensed that the man who built the house, whose name was William M. Wegley, that he's very protective of that house. He died in the master bedroom, the bedroom I sleep in, and I have felt him from the day I moved in. And they also warned me. They said, now the ghost doesn't like renovations, so be careful. Any kind of renovations you make, strange things happen. Well, I started looking around at the renovations, the changes they had made in the 80s, like the 1980s kitchen and some awful bookcases they built. And I thought, well, no wonder he doesn't like this. I mean, who would like this? I mean, they went in the library, and instead of scribing the bookcases to the baseboard, they just cut the baseboard and threw it away.
Oh, no.
So I don't think he was very happy with that. So I moved in, and I started bringing in beautiful old furniture. I had a whole collection, and it's an extraordinary collection. I will definitely say that. And I've been very fortunate to find amazing pieces for the house. And so I feel a sense of calm there. But then there are other things that continue to happen. One of my neighbors that I've befriended told me that on a few occasions she has looked up at the house. Now, there's a bank right across the street, and there's a drive-through. So when you pull into the drive-through, you look right at the tower and the front of the house. And she said she was sitting there in the drive-through, and she looked up, and suddenly a little girl was standing in the window. She'd pulled the lace curtain aside. Well, there was no little girl living in the house. There was just the old man by himself.